Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And, well, I was going to try to be doing this on Tuesday, but was it Monday night? It must have been Monday night. Yeah, it was, because I had yoga that night. A person ran her car off the road at 1 a.m. in front of my house. It was airborne at least 3 times, potentially going 100 miles an hour. I live on a tiny back road with a lot of turns, and ended up in a snowbank, 2 telephone poles. She hit the first pole, landed in the second pole away, and that kept me up for about 2 hours, and then 2 hours in the morning cleaning up pieces of Subaru from across my entire front area there and rebuilding the stone wall that she hit. And people have been asking me, oh my God, was she hurt? She walked away without a scratch. Not a scratch. I mean, the car landed at least 3 times, was airborne at least 3 times, took out the guide wire on my telephone pole, which caused a fire, an explosion, and sparks and wires down. But she was totally fine. And I know this person, and her mom passed away when she was just a teenager from cancer. And I really believe that her mom saved her life in this situation. And I've talked to other people in similar situations, and they have felt when they're having like a crisis of faith in terms of believing in the goodness of the world, something dramatic like that will happen, where a departed loved one will come and steer you back on a spiritual path. And so today I want to talk about this idea of accidental fortune. I mean, this person had a terrible accident. Their car is totaled. I mean, there were pieces of engine laying 300 feet apart all the way across my front yard, and the car still turned over when she was trying to start it. Anyway, but the miracle is that she's completely fine. She possibly has a concussion. And it reminded me of when I had a terrible accident with my horse trailer coming back from a horse show. And this was an extremely stressful time in my life. I was getting a divorce. I had lost my job as a teacher at a prep school. Not that I really wanted it anymore, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I was really in like a dark night of the soul moment, and then I had this accident. And as a result of everything going on, I was going to have to make that Sophie's choice. Which horse can I keep? Which horse do I get rid of? And I had these 2 horses. One was a very high quality, extremely expensive horse who had a lot of potential, Olympic level potential. And the other horse was the one I'd had a really long time, who had done anything I asked, who was really a good guy in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, the very valuable horse died in the accident, so that I didn't have to make that choice. And it wasn't a complete surprise, because a psychic had told me 3 months before that he was going to die. And so I was prepared. But again, what a lucky thing. I was fine. The other horse was fine. My dog was fine. I ended up getting a job working at a farm with a woman who kind of rescued the whole situation. And, that horse didn't want to be here, and now he's not. So, I mean, as much as it's a horrible circumstance, you have to see the meaning and the goodness of these horrible circumstances, because things don't happen for no reason. I really believe the things in our lives come to us for really important reasons. And that is a really good example of, something really bad, but it led to all kinds of shifts in my life, in my consciousness, and it led to a very long time. I had that other horse for 32 years. And again, he did everything I ever wanted him to do. And one of my friends pointed out that the champion show horse, I mean, they both won everything, but the expensive champion horse, he had moments when he almost leapt out of the ring, and he was not reliable. But the other horse could be counted on to do a good job every time. And if you do that in dressage, you can get a pretty good score every time if you don't make any mistakes and you get a couple of high points. And that horse had a beautiful trot. That horse actually was quite successful. So it wasn't like I didn't have that opportunity because I lost that other horse. And today I'm wearing this purple sweater on purpose, and Tristan's wearing his purple flower, because purple is a high vibration. It's the highest vibration of the colors. And, you know, it reminds us that when something bad happens, you have to spin it, literally like your chakras, spin it to a higher vibration to see the good in this thing that seems so dreadful. And for instance, my father recently passed away. I've had a lot of emotional upheaval lately. And, you know, as much as it's terrible to lose a parent, and really terrible for my mom, it happened in a perfect way. You know, he was okay living at home, then he wasn't, then he was in a place, then he decompensated enough that he was out of himself. He started being really mean and combative with people, and that wasn't how he was. And then eventually he quieted down and was sort of not aware of where he was. And, you know, my mom had plenty of time to sit with him and talk and come to kind of a reckoning, and plan things with my sister and just sort of make peace with the whole situation. I mean, it couldn't have happened in a better way. And again, as much as it's a terrible thing to lose someone you love, why not have it happen in a way that is perfect, and to see that. And my mom is doing fine. I mean, she has been able to carry on just fine because of the understanding she has of the way things happen just perfectly. And in fact, Tristan, he came to me when I was really looking for a baby Corgi, because Comet was really not able to walk and I couldn't do things with him anymore. And I couldn't find one. I had asked my sister to find one, but she's not really in touch with Corgi people. But there I was in the supermarket on Christmas Eve, and I was going out the indoor, and a lady ran into me with a big cart, and I was against the wall like this because she was very big, and there was a poster for Corgis, and I hadn't even seen it when I walked in the store. And that's where Tristan came from. And then when I went to get him, he was living about a mile from the house where I lived in high school, and he had been adopted by some people that morning and was returned that day because they wanted a girl Corgi instead, and I wanted a little red boy, and that's what he is. And then the further miracle to prove that this dog was meant for me, his birthday is the same day as my really close friend, my ex-husband. So they are similar, aren't you, you Scorpios? So again, many miracles in that situation. I mean, I could have been moping around saying, oh, it's Christmas Eve and I can't find a puppy, and when am I going to get one, and how long does Comet have? But it just worked out perfectly. And even now, I had a person write to me yesterday in great distress because they just found out that their dog has cancer. The dog is 13 years old, and that's kind of old, but not really old. Are we looking for our dogs to pass away at that age? Not so much, depending on your breed. You know, it's a smaller dog. And you know what? In spite of what the doctor said, the dog's doing kind of okay. And that is, again, as much as it seems a horrible thing to lose a dog, it is a blessing that she has some time to spend with this dog and really celebrate him and cook him special stuff and enjoy him and take him out, maybe in the stroller or for a walk, and just stay with him a lot because she's got a little while. And I mean, these things are miracles that you get this extra time. And I had a client come to me years ago with a husky who had been seeing a vet who no longer has his license, like weekly, every other week for like a year. And she did cranial work and wanted to see how that would work with her dog. Brought the dog to me. I put my hands on the dog, and right here in her armpit, huge, huge, huge lymph node swelling. Every armpit, all four legs, all up under her neck. I said, you know what, I can't treat your dog. You need to go to my friend the vet. Immediately went to the vet, found out the dog had lymphoma. The dog had days to live. But as much as that's awful, again, the dog was at least 10, but having that couple of days for the woman to come to terms with this was huge. I mean, she had a lot to wrestle with. How could I be so dumb to go to this vet that didn't notice this? And thank God I took a cranial class and wanted to meet Sally and knew this, so if the dog didn't just not wake up one day. So again, things that are terrible often happen in a perfect way if we can step outside of the situation and our emotions and stand back and see what the fortune is in these terrible accidents that come into our lives. You know, a lot of people lose jobs, and, you know, they look back 10 years later and think maybe that was the best thing that ever happened to them. And they might not get another job that's better. They might end up doing something entirely different, but they may have been in a job that was literally killing them in one way or another. And so just not having that job that you got fired from could be a blessing. So try to look for the fortune in the accidents in your life. There's so many of them that come to us with our dogs. You know, Little Biscuits came to me because he was an accidental find in the supermarket. My supermarket Corgi, and I wish I could find 20 more. So thanks for joining us today. We will try to come back one day this weekend. I have quite a few things going on Saturday and Sunday, but we'll do our best. Everybody have a great day, and look for the good fortune in your life, accidents or not, because there's lots of good things that happen. Right, Tristan? He says, we could play squeakies today. That would be a good thing for me. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Have a great day, everybody.